Okay, so I love talking about scale because that allows me to talk about numbers. And strangely enough, I am quite a numbers person as well as the sort of the poet and the big picture thinker. So let me give you some numbers, and I'll ask my team to also share this data in the chat so that everyone can follow. At the top level, the most important from the way that I think about these things is that the SDG financing gap is still estimated to be some $5 trillion. And if that were not bad enough, when Vera Shongwe and Lord Stern produced their highly recommended report, they also came up with an estimate just for climate finance at $1 trillion per year as what needs to be financed. Now, those are big numbers. And in this closing keynote yesterday, the founding partner of GIP made a very compelling recommendation that I think everyone, wherever you're based in the financial landscape, needs to be paying attention to, in which he said, basically, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, because of fiscal pressure and where debt ratios are for most of the countries in the world that need that finance, it is an imperative to mobilize that finance from private capital sources. Now, that makes impeccable sense, except that in the impact investing community and in the climate policy community, private capital is viewed as an adversary. And so I have loads and many discussions, which I'm used to after 40 years in finance, about mobilizing public funds. And my question is, where's it going to come from? Private capital, whatever estimates you want to use, sit at $468 trillion. That's one estimate. Global GDP is about 85 to 90 trillion dollars. So private markets are several times the real economy. And it should be obvious because since we're talking about impact investing and blended finance, the estimates of impact investing from GIN, so this is US, I think, and some European numbers in there as well, is $1 trillion. When you come down to sustainable finance, so money that is being mobilized or allocated using sustainable finance principles, it's a lot less. Or it's a bit more because the impact folks sort of carved out a niche within sustainable finance and said that if you are not measuring impact according to these particular principles, then you were maybe sustainable but not impact investing. And then, of course, blended finance, according to the traditional measures of how those things get measured by the IFC, convergence, and so on, is even a smaller fraction. So the main point in terms of scale, is that the approaches that have been taken so far that run parallel to private capital are insufficient. But I want to underline a point in that sitting in high finance conversations, there is a conversation about how are we going to mobilize more dollars? Because mobilizing dollars is their business. Whereas when you move across and I say move across because I don't see lots of people in common spaces. I've been in New York for 3 weeks and it's all siloed. So in the high finance spaces, you see people, doing their thing. And in the climate policy spaces, you see people doing their thing. In the development spaces, you see people doing their thing, but you have very few people who bridge and who cut across, which, of course, as you know, is a major um, recommendation and way of thinking about what ought we to be doing differently.